Alrighty, I think we are live.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, party people, what's going on? We back again another Monday. We are live every single Monday on this channel. Every other Monday, we have our master classes. But this live, we are talking about why business is so hard. Business is hard. Do y'all believe that? Let us know in the comments if y'all believe that business is hard because not everybody is deserves to be a business owner and not everybody can be a business owner. But if we think about it on a daily basis, like everybody does conduct business, whether you're buying something, whether you're turning on the TV, whether you are turning off the TV, whether you're about to go to sleep, your nighttime routine, or everything that you do is a transaction because you're doing an input and an output. And so diving into today's live, we're really just going to discuss why business is hard, or do we feel like business is hard? Like there's a lot of people that start and stop. They say that businesses don't even make it to the first 5 years. And if they do, then they fail after that. So let's get into how y'all feel about business. Do y'all think business is hard? Like, be honest.
I would say yes. The first thing I think about with a business owner is you just you're wearing a lot of hats, right? Especially when you're first starting. You're doing all the things. You're the accountant, you're the person, fulfilling the service or creating the product. You're the marketing person. You're the everything. And so with that, right, like if especially if it's something that you aren't either familiar with or you are not as strong in, or if it's something you don't like, it makes it that much worse, right? To do those things versus, the things in your business that you probably enjoy the most. And so like that, and that's just one piece of it, to be honest. Like that's the first thing I think about is like business is hard, yep, all the things, but also like nonstop. It's literally nonstop. Like when you work for somebody versus running your own ship is different. Energy's different, mindset's different, your drive, everything is different because it's yours. And you are going to operate. I mean, the goal is to operate at excellence, right? And oftentimes, you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. So it's going to be late nights, it's going to be sacrifice, it's going to be all the things. And like you said, a lot of people don't survive, and I think that's part of it, right? They come in thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna run my own business and it's just gonna be easy. Like, no, it's not. One. Two is having lack of structure, right? Like not having a foundation or not having your systems in place. Those things will catch up with you over time, and it'll make it that much harder for you to drive your business where you're wanting it to go. So yeah, I definitely agree that business is hard.
And like, I don't know. I feel like maybe the hardness of it comes from like the actual mindset because personally, I feel like everything in life is has some sort of difficulty level, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe if it's just a matter of us choosing, well, what is it that you want to do? Like how Monet brought up, just like knowing what it is that you're doing. And if you don't, then it makes it difficult. Well, in business, there's always going to be another level you can go to, and that's how, or that is the definition of your business growing. And so I can see where people say that that is hard because the uncertainty or just not knowing something is a new experience. It may be a new challenge. But the overall concept, I personally don't think is hard. I just think people they burn out, they give up, they settle, they compare, they let all of the outside noise get into the inside mind. And that's what makes you think that it's hard. Like, it's not easy, but the actual process of just doing something is, I think, is more simple than what we make it.
Hmm, that's a good point. No, that, yeah, my mindset definitely has has a lot to do with that, but I do agree with that. A business model is very simple, and there are a lot of distractions is not the word I want to use. There's a lot of variables that can make it hard on different levels. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I would say for me, I think mindset plays a role. I don't, I don't typically, I think that using the word hard is easier to use to be more relatable when you're talking, to individuals because that's just something that I feel like, maximize in our vocabulary for so long. And just even for myself, we were talking about mindset. I think one of the biggest things is being able to change your mindset, which will in return change your thought process. So I don't look at business being hard or life necessarily being hard, but I just look at the things that we do uh as human beings, as the everyday person, as us just being stretched. And the reason why I say that is because part of being stretched is uh being able to make maximum use of talents or abilities. And I feel like that is with anything that you do in life, that is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be stretched. And I think when it comes to in relation to doing business, business will stretch you in ways that you did not expect, because in life we oftentimes get into routine habits, meaning doing the same thing and operating within comfortability, and comfort begins to look like ease. And when you switch doing things that you are no longer used to or routine, immediately it sounds hard. But I think of it as like, Jazz Bonet, you work out a lot, and you started your journey with the intention in mind to set out goals. And I look at a business as being stretched. And the reason why I use the analogy of working out is because when you first get back into the gym, your body is, being stretched. There's different parts of your body that you're working at a certain capacity that you've never actually done, or it maybe have been a long time that you exercise those parts of the body. So I wouldn't say that it's hard, but each day that you wake up and you start to work your muscles, whether it's your legs, whether you start out with cardio, you begin to run, your body is taking a certain level of endurance to become better, right? You get faster, you get stronger, and I believe that's exactly what doing business is about. It's just about being stretched. You start to grow, you start to develop, like your mindset starts to expand, your capabilities start to grow. There are certain things that you are going to be faced with, you're going to do that you were not doing on a day to day, because we are very reactive, meaning as
Mm.
a society, we're trained to, live the same routine lifestyle every single day. And when we become that, it's a sense of ease. So when you're faced with doing something different, the first thing that we run to is that this is hard. But in reality, it's just us being stretched to, our full level and our capabilities and abilities. And I think if you think about it, from the time you were a toddler and from the time you were born up into an adult, we've had to stretch our way through life. And it wasn't that it was difficult, it was just that each level of adolescence, or each level of growth or stage, required us to be a different person and a new version of ourselves. So that's what I really believe, business is really all about. And I don't look at it as being hard or difficult. I just look at it as being able to stretch your maximum capabilities in order to get to the level that you are already destined to be, essentially. That's just my thought process on it.
Yeah, and that stretch, I think the stretch part was a good analogy too, because when you're stretching your body, to take it back to the YouTube, the gym example, it's like you have to know where it is that you're stretching, right? If you pull your arm across your body, don't also be pulling your leg to the other room if you don't really know what you're doing, right? Like focusing on one area at a time to get the maximum results is how you can stretch yourself. I think that a lot of people go in and want to stretch the right arm, the left arm, the right leg, the left leg, and now you over there looking like you being pulled in 4 or 5 different ways when you are. And so I think that can contribute to the actual hardship of being in business, like the stretching, the pulling, the making sure that, like how Monet talked about earlier, just having so many different hats that it just feels hard. But ultimately, making a simple choice, knowing, okay, I want to start in this direction, and then you're stretching in this direction. You then become the master of that, or you figure out that you love it, or you figure out that you hate it, but it allows you to at least see it with a clearer view, as opposed to saying yes to this, yes to that, yes to this, yes to that. And now you're stretched out in 5 different ways. And now you think that business is so hard and it's not going to succeed. When in all actuality, if we just took it one step at a time, stretched in that area, focus in that direction, I think that the word hard um, would almost become like not not like it wouldn't be something that somebody is saying and actually feels it, right? So they would start to say it, but it wouldn't necessarily be hard because they are ultimately focused in one direction. But then that leads back to everything that we talk about of being a business owner and the shiny object syndrome and everybody around us and what you want to do and what you can do and what you can't do. And so that is I love that analogy that you brought up, Cash, especially with the stretching, because the stretching works, but are you stretching yourselves? Ask yourselves, like, are you stretching yourselves 4 to 5 different directions? And if that was your body, how would that feel in the next moment, in the next day, in the next week, if all of your limbs were being pulled apart? Damn, that's a little gruesome, right? I guess that's business.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Like, business is it's something that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. I think we think about business as, just uh y- what we oftentimes associate business with is like, being a full-time entrepreneur and different things like that, which is certainly, associated with that. But I mean, we're doing business every day, like if you look at, what business is, um by definition, depending on how you use it, like in the noun form, or it's a person's regular occupation, profession, or trade. So I mean, every day that you're getting up, whether you're doing business at work, whether you're conducting business at work, whether you're doing a business, and your own business as a full-time entrepreneur, every day at some form of capacity, you should be doing business. So I feel like, again, that goes back to when we're talking about, being in routine and being in control and just having a different mindset. The way we look at things is because business is simply, different synonyms. It's just your line of work. It's really what you do on a regular basis. So I would say, like, you can meet people all the time and you'll be like, hey, well, do you think what you do for business, or do you think your business, or do you think your job, or do you think your career is easy? And different people have different answers. So I certainly feel like if people look at it in the capacity of, when you do business, you're simply engaging in your occupation, profession, trade, and you're actually just, doing your line of work, that we wouldn't associate business with being hard, with complexity, with difficulty, but just look at it as something that we are engaging in, on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like once we begin to change our thought process, business becomes a lot easier. And I think that's how you become, good or great at something, is when you change your thought process. So if you change the way that you think about business and how you associate business and how you do business, then the way you feel about when you're conducting business, or when people are bringing up this topic, like, is business hard? Is it difficult? Your response and your answer to that will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to add to that too, I mean, just like y'all said, like you're in business in some type of capacity, right? Like whether you're an entrepreneur or not, is have a plan. Like don't just come in saying, "Oh, I'm gonna cook these cookies and sell them," and you don't have a plan. So I think that's important as well. Just like with anything else, like you gave the example about the gym. Yeah. Like Jasmine, Ruby, like what you say, you stretch your arm to the left, whatever. You know what you're doing before you go in the gym, 9 times out of 10. You know what you're doing that day. Is it arm day, leg day? Is it cardio? You know what stretches you're doing. You know everything, that you're doing. And so, running a business is the same way. What are you doing? What are you selling? How are you going to market? What do your numbers look like? The list goes on of all the things. So it's the same thing. And so, when it comes to setting yourself up, for, success and, shifting your mindset with shifting your mindset that this is not hard and this is something that I have to do or this is what I need to do to get to this point with, whatever your goal is. I think that's definitely something that, everybody should keep in mind too. So I think there's this, you think about the millennials and then the group after us, like a lot of them don't want to work. They just want to, it's the truth. Like our parents, they grew up, they worked their jobs, right? What is it, the baby boomers or whatever? But yeah, a lot of our generation, they don't want to work. They want this get rich fast thing. All right, I'm gonna make $1 million in a month type of situation. And that's just really the what we're dealing with. And so I think it's just a good gentle reminder for, everyone that is a millennial, or is it is it Gen X? I can't remember, but a lot of us that are on the younger side, I think it's good for us to keep that in mind because our mindset is just different compared to, our parents and their parents. And there's also just a lot more available now, a lot more opportunities and resources and different things we can do. But it's all about having a plan and being strategic with it.
That's a fact. And the resources, I think that definitely plays a big, big part because it's like I see other people make a few videos and now they're millionaires, you know? And it's like, damn, I've been in this for 3 months. Like, why is this so hard? And
Hmm.
it's like, is it hard or did you just not even get into the actual crevice of what it takes to be where you see other people are at? And so I think that's a great point of you bringing up just like what the expectation is nowadays. Because the definition of hard, like being put in between a hard, what do they say? A rock and a hard place. Like, I feel like that's how a lot of people are living on that autopilot. And so when you look around, if you're put in a place that is between a hard rock and what's the saying? Put in, y'all know what saying I'm saying?
I know it. I don't know exactly, like
They put me
verbatim.
in. Yeah, but I think it's between a hard place and a rock, or a hard rock and a place. Drop it in the comments if y'all know the terminology. But essentially, like, I think people are living in that space of being between a hard rock and a hard place. And so when you look around, if a hard place, a brick wall is on your right hand side, and and a hard rock is on your left hand side, and the front and back of you are so long, you don't really see what's ahead. It's like, damn, all am I looking at? Majority of what you're looking at looks hard, but the people that are really focused on that narrow path, right? Because it can be very narrow, they'll ultimately see that benefit or that reward or that conclusion that they want to come from what it is they're doing, and they're not going to be stopped just because 80% of where they're looking around looks really, really hard. They're going to continue to focus on what it is they're going to do. They're going to block out the noise and they're just going to get it done. And so why is doing business so hard? Well, because I personally feel like not everybody is like that. There's a lot of people that are in business that constantly feel like it's hard or constantly feel like it's trapped. And when you feel like that, everything that you're doing is showing that, or there's some type of tie to it. And then imagine you're a business owner that's doing business with somebody else that believes everything that they're getting into is very hard. And it's like, all right, now we're always pessimistic instead of optimistic. Like Kiana said, we're always reactive instead of proactive. And it's like retraining society and business owners and consumers to understand like all of this is very simple as long as we're making it simple. It's only hard if you make it hard. There's a difference between challenging and learning and stretching yourself rather than just calling something hard and not doing it. And so that analogy pops us into my head because doing business can be hard when you're doing business with people who think that business is hard. I don't know if that went over your head, but essentially the people you do business with, like, get all the information. I want y'all looking up the info on BBB, on Reddit, on everything because it's crucial who you do business with. It's crucial who you have partners with. It's crucial the people that you serve, the clientele, the consumers, everything is crucial. And when you know what it is that you are on that straight, narrow path with the light in front of you, at least you're able to determine anything that's coming off of that brick wall or a piece of rock that falls down. You like, all right, this is a small obstacle. Let me get over it, or let me get through it, or let me get around it, or let me figure out the best way to go about it. Because ultimately, business can be hard when you're working with other people that believe that business is really hard. I hope that made sense. I know it did.
Yeah, and just to add to that is I think, well, not even really think, but I know that because here at Digital Millionaire University, so hello everybody that is tuning in, watching us live. One of the things that also you talked about, people may feel like something is hard or something is difficult depending on who you're dealing with. So yeah, I think a lot of times whether like whatever type of environment you are in is, a direct correlation to how you show up, how you feel, your thoughts and all of those different things. So one of the great things I feel like an advantage that we have here and just in today's digital world and just being able to pick out the right people to do business with is understanding system and strategies and developing a right business model for yourself. So I think, well, not think, but I know that because we are in such a digital landscape in today's world, that being able to create systems such as having like automation and all these different things in place helps with combating the idea that business is hard. I feel like a lot of times, even when I was like in certain work environments, I'm like, why do people make this thing here, whatever that thing was, so difficult when it could just be so easy? I remember I would have so many thoughts of or moments of that, like, this does not have to be hard. Like, people are making this harder than what it needs to be. And I remember I would always say that just at different moments. And it's just a constant reminder that whenever you feel like something is too difficult or hard, it's oftentimes just means that you need to put a certain strategy or a system in place so that it doesn't feel like such a constraint. And I think, again, I think I know that in business, that is what you have to do, which is why here we practice automation, we practice, being able to do things not manual if it doesn't require it to be, or making sure that we have uh certain processes in place so we don't have to feel those different tensions, like overwhelmed, or this is hard, this is difficult, or you don't want to do it, or this seems like it's not working out, or this is not meant to be. All these things that when I think about, or when I spoke to, or when I hear the when I hear reservations of people saying that, this is difficult, this is hard, being able to do those things, I feel like makes it 10 times easier, which I feel like if we don't start to implement those things, whether you're a new business owner or you're an existing business owner or you're just in the everyday life of doing business, if you don't start to put in systems or strategies into your own life, into your own workplace, that you will continue to have the mindset of thinking that everything you do is hard, when in reality, you just need someone to come in, such as ourselves, obviously at Digital Millionaire University, to give you the proper business model, structure, or strategy so that you are no longer associating certain tasks with being hard, but more so of saying, okay, this is how we need to do it. So that way this can now happen. So you just need a formula to be able to have the outcome of like, oh, all right, like this is easy. And I see that all the time. Like you see people come in. I've even seen like for different companies and corporations, people come in and they bring in like a consultant or some type of, like leader or whoever it is, and they leave, whether it's a week or 30 days or maybe a couple months, and everything is now changed, it's now fixed. So it's like, oh, well, now it no longer becomes hard, and people are more satisfied, they're happier, you feel more contentment, you feel more joy. And it's just with certain simple tweaks that a person and or organization made to change and to shift your thought process and your feeling. And I think that we are just one tweak away, one person away, one strategy away of turning things that we think of that are hard or difficult into this is doable, this is easy, I can do this, and just having more positivity around, what business is. I enjoy my business, I love what I do, and all these different things. So I feel like that is a great point when you talk about who you do business with and how you do business, and being able to recognize why you're saying something is hard. I think that's important too. Like you want to find a solution to that.
No, that's no, that's so good. Um, man, yeah, that's good. I wanted to add to that and something else that I've just kind of learned over the years, and I'm still working with is, most people will be like, oh, this is hard, right? We're talking about business is hard. So they'll say, oh, this is hard. Why is this so hard? And instead of looking at it from that perspective, which, we've touched on mindset, which goes back to the mindset, is saying like, how can I make this easier? And that basically is just exactly what you were just saying with automations and all of that, Kiana, strategy, all of those things are important. I mentioned plan, like all of these things, uh, literally that we were, just talking about, but just thinking about it from that perspective, because I'm talking to those of you that get overwhelmed quickly, maybe get anxiety. Not everybody is a strategy, not everybody can put one together. Sometimes, you and County mentioned this too, you have to partner with people, um, that will complement where you're weak, and that's okay. It's okay for you not to wear all the hats and be amazing at everything. Focus on your strengths, and where you lack, find either, find a service, find somebody that'll, ride that wave with you while you're on your journey. I think that's so important because a lot of people think they're alone when it comes to their business. They're like, oh, I have no help, or no, like I've heard that a lot of that over the years. And so one thing that has gotten me through is really like, all right, what can I do to make this easier for myself, or just really thinking about it different instead of the constant negative, this is hard, I can't, all those types of words, right? You tell your brain you can't do something, what do you expect to happen? You're training your brain, I can't, these negative, words. And so I think that's something that has gotten me through over the years. When times were rough, it's like, all right, it's a little challenging right now. What can I do to make this better? What can I implement? Who can I talk to? Whatever it is, like whatever it is. So I think that's definitely something, a pro tip as well to think about as you all, go on your journey.
Yeah, for sure. And just to give the people them some insight, like what would y'all say to somebody um pertaining to, right? Like uh going off the topic, we already know business is so hard, but what would y'all say to somebody like on the verge of if they should even do business or not? Like what would that piece, what would that advice, what would that conversation basically start off with? Because there are a lot of people starting, stopping, not starting at all, not even knowing how to start. Like there's so many people out there to reach, and everybody's in their own level, right? You could be at level 10 and somebody's at level 3. You could be at level 10 and somebody's at level 24. But what would y'all say to somebody like really deciding like should you take what you're doing as a business? Should you take your passion as a business? Should you really become the creator you want to be? Should you take a leap of faith? Like what does that look like? What would y'all tell them?
This, I mean, this could go into a whole nother topic of,
Not the huff and puff.
yeah, like of so many different things. One of the things right now that I'm working on in relation to just when talking with people, but to take it back to faith, I totally think that business is about having a faith walk, like whatever you believe in, right? Because I'm a believer, and one of the things that I oftentimes refer to, a lot of times when there's certain things that are happening or going on, I refer to, different scriptures and different things like that. And obviously, one of my favorite scriptures, one of my favorite, and it's very short, but it gets to the point, and it's a reminder that you can do anything that you really put your mind to. It sounds cliche, but it's really the reality. If you really sit down, and an assignment that you do is like track all the things that you've done in life, and you'll be amazed at all the things you've been able to accomplish. And that just gives your mindset the ability to know that anything that you put your mind to, you can do. So if you love something, if you're passionate about something, that 9 times out of 10, that is something that you should be operating in. And obviously in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." And that right there is enough for me to know. Of course, in the Bible, it talks about, just having plans and purpose. And one of the series that I'm working on is any place outside of purpose is prison. And the reason why business is important is because most of us are operating out of in a sense of prison instead of purpose. And the reason why is because, again, it goes back to the routine behavior that we are a reactive society, when in faith context we are meant to be proactive, meaning the life that we see for ourselves and the life that we want for ourselves is already there. It's already ordained for us. We just have to go, and we have to do our business. And every day, when you wake up, whether you realize it or not, you're operating in business. Some of us are just operating outside of our purpose, which makes business look like prison. But if
Hmm.
you operate in your purpose and in your passion, you won't feel like a prisoner to the true purpose that you are supposed to be serving and what you're called to do while you're here in this, in this time frame that we have. So that's just really what I feel. That's what I believe. That's what I know to be a fact. So for everybody listening, on the call, like, business only feels like prison when you are outside of your purpose. So if you operate within your purpose, business will not feel difficult. It won't feel painful, but it will feel good because it comes from the inside, and it comes from heart, and it comes from what you were basically destined to do and what you are called to do, which we are all here. Obviously, we are all called to do God's work, and that's really it. So that's just, that's a part of what I would say of one of the series that I'm working on, which is, any place outside of purpose is prison.
Yeah. Ooh. And what about you, Monet? Any place, say that again, Cash? Any place outside of purpose is prison?
Absolutely.
Wow. You gonna get it tatted?
Um, yeah, that's a loaded question. Um, what I would say to someone, first I would say take a breath. I'm just being honest. I'd be like, let's take a second. And I mean, honestly, I agree with everything Kiana's saying. It's so true. You do have right. So okay, so the passion, that is totally a thing. But for those of you that is not the situation, because that's not everybody's situation. Some people are very successful and they're not passionate with what they're doing, or they're is paying the bills or whatever the case may be. um, it goes back to strategizing and having a plan, and especially an exit plan for what you're doing so that you can get to the thing that you're actually wanting to do, if that is you. So it's just kind of, a lot of what Kiana said, I agree with. And so I don't want to necessarily repeat that, but I just kind of want to add on to it. That may not be you. So if you're somebody that you're already going, right? Not someone that's just starting and has all the options on the table. But if you're somebody that's going and you're looking to make a move, you can make that move. You have to sit down and map out what those next steps would be for you. And it it would definitely make sense to make sure that it is something that's in your passion. So you're not putting yourself in the same place that you're in now if you're unhappy. Now, if you're somebody that you're just getting going and you don't really have a business going, you're just getting started, then you're in the perfect position because you can make the decision today. This is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. You're already in a good position. So start it off right. Start your foundation strong. That goes a long way. We talked about this on our last live. So again, loaded question. There's a lot of ways we can go with it. But that's just kind of adding on to what Kiana said. It's not mm, how do I want to word this so that it makes sense? There's a quote. I really wish, man, I wish I had it in my brain. Yeah, it's not difficult, y'all. Like it's really not difficult. You're no different than the next person that's a millionaire right now. It's really just the mindset. I promise you it is. That's the difference on your next move and what that looks like. And if you need direction or you don't know where to go, that's where having a mentor, surrounding yourself around people to help you, to, give you suggestions because they're on the outside looking in, like that matters, and you not trying to tackle it by yourself. So that is what I would add to, what Kiana said with that.
Yeah, that collaboration is everything. Um, and for me, like if somebody is asking themselves, should you be a business owner? I would put all of that together with what we talked about on this call, with what Cash and Monet just said, and I would just ultimately, you know, my go-to, my sisters laugh at me, my investors will laugh at me, but I'll be quick to tell somebody, write it down, write the pros and cons. Like, just literally write the pros and cons down and what outweighs what. And knowing that whatever you decide for today, next year, next 3 years, next 5 years, next 10 years, it's ultimately going to be a decision that you live with. Yes, you'll be able to connect with other people. Yes, you're going to contact other people, but it's ultimately a decision that you're choosing to make. And so, whatever it feels like for you, if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, but it's something that you've been looking at for so long, then I would say do it. I would say do it 100,000 times because this life we have is not guaranteed. And so would you be a business owner if it meant that, yeah, things could, you know, be risky when and actually everything is risky. So would you be a business owner if you knew that you could fail? Would you be a business owner if you knew that you would succeed? Like that's really the two ultimate questions. And if it's yes, then run with it. Business is not going to be so hard that you fall away from what you truly desire. What is it tied to? Is it tied to the freedom? Is it tied to the knowledge? Is it tied to the community? Is it tied what is the overall goal that it's tied to? And it doesn't matter if you're selling bracelets, if you have an IT company, if you're a notary, if you do digital products, if you're on YouTube, it doesn't matter what the business that you're doing is. It matters for you to figure it out, but it doesn't matter what it is that you are putting your all into because at the end of the day, you know that you would be doing it whether you quote unquote succeed or there needs to be a pivot because you actually love it, you actually enjoy it, or you actually just want to see what happens. I think being risky and understanding good risk is a great thing because everything is risky. Everything. We talk about going to the gym. Going to the gym is risky. I hit my head on a damn pole in the gym because I had a hat on, picking up the damn piece to put on the damn thing. And I'm like, oh, my head hurt. But that's not gonna stop me from going to the gym just because I hit my head on the damn pole, right? Right? I'm gonna make sure my hand is above my head moving forward every time. If you see me, that's just know that that's what I'm doing. But it's not gonna stop me from going to the gym, right? Like any risk, there's going to be risk in anything you do, but it shouldn't stop you from something that you've been dreaming about, been talking about, been thinking about, because essentially the vision, the thought, what was put into your mind is put into your mind for you. It's put into your mind by God to literally say, do this, like get it done, or be a vessel to somebody else to help build it. There's multiple ways that you can look at it and however you're spiritually connected, but just know that something you're visioning is meant for you. And so that's how I will determine if you should be a business owner or not. Um, because as for us in TMU, we're gonna do good business. We're gonna do great business. Drop great business in the chat. I see y'all on the YouTube live. Shout out to y'all. Let us know in the comments if there's any topics. When y'all see us posting the community post, let us know about the topics y'all want us to talk about. We are excited to continue to grow in knowledge and research and just everything pertaining to being the best versions of ourselves. So that way the people we come in contact, the business we do, the clients, the corporations, everything that we're entwined to, we can only make greater impact. And with that being said, do we have any last words we want to give out to the family about their next steps when it comes to business and how to remind themselves to really just keep it simple?
Mm. I'll just say that the biggest investment in life is into yourself. So when you invest into yourself, that's the biggest, that's the biggest level of commitment. That's the, one of the biggest levels of investment is for yourself, and that's a, a direct correlation of, doing business. So if you are committed and you are ready and like this is what you need to do, you just take the strategies, take the plan, take the systems, find the right people, reach out if you need help. Don't let ego and pride get in your way. Don't let fear and doubt stop you from doing what you want to do, like what you talked about, something that you dream about, something that you think about. I saw in the comments about social media, like don't let social media, get in the way of your messaging, of your
Mhm.
authenticity, of what it is that you want to do. But just practice, but practice in real time. Like be okay with not being perfect, be okay with making mistakes, be okay with being imperfect, and just do what you really want to do what you love to do, and do it with the people that make sense. And if that's you being a part of community, which is going to be important, like what you talked about here at Digital Millionaire University, it's really one of the things that we talk about and we value is being in community, but being in community and in alignment with the right people, because that's what's going to help you with getting further as it pertains to what it is that you want to do, what type of business you should do, how you should do business, but also reaching the right people. Because of course African proverbs I love is that if you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. So that's really what business is about. So be around business minded people, like minded people, and watch how your dreams and your life prospers as a direct benefit of you joining community, uh, in places such as, our community, DMU, where we teach you about business and how to do business, how to operate business, online, and to do business the right way, unorthodox, unconventional, and being in business for what it is that you want to do. That's what I would leave individuals with, that just do the business. Like don't think about it, just do it. That's it.
I love it. Dude, like I was gonna say that quote. I was gonna the African proverbs. Oh my gosh. Like I literally that was the first thing that I was going to say. That's wild. Agree with everything that you're saying. I just want to leave you all with yeah, you don't have to do it alone. Kiana already said the quote. And I'll just say it again, if you want to go fast, go along. If you want to go far, go together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Collaboration is key. All of that. Also, simplicity is key. That's another thing too. Anyways, that's another topic. But I would say, just shift your mindset. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're asking yourself right now, is this going to be hard? Or why is this so hard? Just start asking yourself more questions like, how can I make this easier? How can I plan? Okay, maybe I need some help planning. Where am I not as, strong? Where can someone compliment me? And just starting to think that way, I think definitely makes a difference. And you'll also attract the opposite as well. They say opposites attract. It's a real thing. You will start to attract those people where y'all do complement each other well, and you match your strengths and your weaknesses, and you're able to come together to make something great. If you are, in my opinion, if you are truly living in your purpose, that will just happen. You don't have to force it. So I'm not telling you to go and look and find your match like going on a dating site. No, I'm telling you just to be you and do what you already know how to do. The rest will all like it'll just fall into place. It just will. That's what I'm saying. Um, Also focus on your strengths, which kind of just ties into what I just said. Don't focus so much on what you're not as good at or a lot of people tend to focus on, what they don't like to do, what they're not as strong in. And instead of really honing in on their strength and finding a way to either a person or usually, right, it's automation or delegation thing. So either finding a system or a person or something that to fill in that gap so that you can focus on your strength. And just systems. I mean, that's it. Your foundation is key in everything. So if you are just getting started, this is the time for you to really hone in and build that foundation, which really consists of your strategy for your business. What's your plan? In other words, what's your plan? And if you are already in business and you're thriving and doing the things, just making sure that you take a second to sit down and, be forward thinking and think, okay, like what's next? Like, is this really what I want to do? Is this how I want it to go? And really strategizing and creating a plan in that way. So that's what I would leave with everybody.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love that. Don't let people or things talk you out of something you have never done. So if you've never done business for you, now is the time to do it.
Mm. Now is the time to get her done. I love that. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, we on here live every Monday. Next Monday is going to be the masterclass, and just know when you come to the masterclass, new gems are dropped every time we have them. So make sure y'all are signing up. It's a free masterclass. The link is in the chat, so you can go ahead and click that. And also, we have a lot of new challenges and opportunities coming up for the new year, which is exciting because it's going to take the whole simplicity and business to another level when it comes to literally putting everything that you need to get done into a simple box that you can put under the Christmas tree and give to people so that way they can get their business, their relationships, their structure, their bonding, their blueprint, everything together all in one. So make sure y'all check the description box for for that below. You'll be able to see all the links, all the free uploads as well, because essentially at Digital Millionaire University, we are going to always go full out because we know it's important to continue just make impact in our community, around our community, and also being a part of the community. And so to wrap everything up, when it does come to business and is it really hard? Well, it is a mindset. Do you believe that you can get the business done? Do you believe that you will succeed in the business? Your vision today may not be the same vision that happens in the next 3 months, but who's to say that it won't be 10 times better than what you're envisioning now? And ultimately, that's a mindset that you are choosing to believe, choosing to practice, and choosing to create habits that actually live up to the vision of it being 10 times better. And now you actually reap what you've been sowing the entire time. And so we are going to leave y'all with the blueprint just like that. Make sure y'all check back in with us next Monday for the masterclass right here, same page, 8 p.m. Send this out to everyone that you know that's online as a content creator, doing digital products, uses AI, and of course, anyone that needs more structure as well as a customer relationship management system to really cultivate an audience and a community that they can own and have them know, like, and trust them. All right, y'all. So we will see y'all next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to comment on our community post so that way we are able to know what y'all want to see next. And shout out to all of y'all in the comments. And I believe we answered all the questions in the comments, right, y'all?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes.
We address everything from what I can see now. Let me just refresh to make sure. But yep, we address everything.
Beautiful, beautiful. Maybe we'll do a whole separate live on mindset and business because Lord knows that's another topic. But essentially, y'all have an amazing night. We are gonna get right back to work because it's sacrifice season. And for y'all, I pray that y'all see that and know that 2025 doesn't start on January 1st. It has already started, begun, and in the full motion and flow of things. So please make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and also let us know under the community post what you'd like to see next. And we'll see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.